Hey, what's up, my friend? Michael Anthony here, author, speaker, coach, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. Today, I'm going to talk to you about taking a break. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean? Well, it's very simple. In this trauma healing journey, we are often, especially when you get deep into it, I see it again and again with the clients I work with. We get deep into this healing journey where it becomes our life, where we're reading all the books, we're going to all the events, we're listening to all the podcasts. Now, don't go away yet. I'm not telling you to leave this podcast. And we put ourselves in this position where we're constantly going. One of the biggest things that you have to understand about the response, like one of the really natural responses to trauma, which is the lack of control for many of us, is to thus take control, to become a control freak. That was my life. I was a fucking control freak. Everything was in my control at all times. And I'm not saying control is necessarily a bad thing when you're leveraging it correctly, because sometimes control ends up becoming this slippery slope where next thing you know, you're buried deep within doing 10,000 things at a time and not accomplishing one. Or worse, you're overextending yourself. I see this happen all the time. And that was my experience also. I was overextending myself to the point that I was nearing exhaustion in my trauma healing journey. I was reading all the books. I was going to therapy 3 times a week. Like, that's crazy. Regular therapy, men's group therapy, EMDR therapy, CBT therapy. I was going to all of them. I was doing them all the time. And eventually I hit burnout. Now, you probably hear about burnout all the time from a work perspective, and I think that holds true also. Sometimes we can work ourselves too much. Now, for some people that doesn't exist. I don't know. That's not what this conversation is about. But you may actually be in a position right now where you need to pause, take a breath, and then go outside and play. Go do something different than being in the book, than learning, than the studying, than the therapy, than the coaching, than the journaling, than the meditation, all of the things. Sometimes, now this may sound counter to 99.9% of the things that I tell you. Sometimes you have to force yourself to take a break as a part of the healing journey. You see, when we're growing up and we're in this chaotic environment and it's so out of our control, the moment we get control in our life, we leverage it and we go into 5th gear, and next thing you know, we're going down 100 miles an hour on the control highway. We hit this roadblock and our life implodes on us because we find out we are exhausted. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times in which you have to go 100 miles an hour, because sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to go at life 100 miles an hour to accomplish things. But you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your brain. You have to listen to your intuition. If your body is saying, stop, pause, hey, listen to me, I'm fucking tired, you need to take a break. If your body is screaming at you and your mind is so convoluted, you can't think straight, maybe it's time for some Netflix and chill. Maybe it's time for a walk around the block. Maybe it's time to get outside and experience life for a moment. Maybe it's time to say, you know what, this week I'm not going to go to therapy. I'm not going to go to coaching. I'm not going to read that book. And instead, I'm just going to try to live for a moment. It gets so easy to get caught up in this journey because we're often seeking that deadline, that endpoint, that goal, that stopping place where we say, okay, great, I got it now. My life is only going to work when I hit this thing. And we chase, and we drive. And we push ourselves to exhaustion in the hope that we'll reach that thing, we'll hit that goal, and suddenly life will be magically what it is that we want it to be. And I've told you before, there's no Disney moment. Like, I'm sorry, but that moment isn't coming. So what you can do is think about this. Every single moment of every single day, including right now, as you living your life, this is your Disney moment. Right now is that moment in time in which you are creating who it is that you want to be and who it is that you are. And sometimes you have to take a look at what's actually happening. Now, from a disassociation standpoint, it's really easy to ignore our core needs because we've been so used to our core needs being ignored for the majority of our life. Our parents didn't take care of us, didn't take us to the doctor, community didn't take care of us, teacher didn't take care of us, school didn't take care of us, college didn't take care of us, work doesn't take care of us, partner doesn't take care of us, community doesn't take care of us, peers don't take care of us, friends don't take care of us. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. You are the only person in your life responsible for taking care of you. And that means putting yourself first. And that means taking care of yourself in the moments in which you are starting to run out of gas. The worst thing that you can do is run out of gas. That is the worst thing you can do. Instead of ignoring every gas station on the road on the way to where you're going, 5 miles till next gas station, 30 miles till next gas station, 100 miles till next gas station, and ignoring all the signs, instead of doing that, you got to pull over. You have to pause, get that Gatorade, get those pretzels, get those gummy bears. Me, if I'm on a long road trip, I'm grabbing the gummy bears, and then get that gas, recharge, pause, rest area. Rest areas exist for drivers because exhaustion leads to death. You can go look at all the statistics around car accidents and being tired, people falling asleep at the wheel, people losing the ability to have a cognizant understanding of what's happening right now. That translates into everything in life. Not being in this position where you're cognizant of what's happening in your life because you're going 100 miles an hour is a dead end road. It is okay. I'm going to tell you something right now that you need to hear. And something you probably need to tell yourself. And as a reminder, maybe it's what your goals need to be. Maybe it needs to be the theme of your day, that I am the kind of person. I want you to write this down. Actually, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and find a piece of paper or get out your phone and add a note in your notes app, because I know you got one. Or take a piece of paper, a sticky note, a napkin, a receipt. I don't care. Grab something and write this down. And remind this to yourself. Remind yourself of this every single day. And this is a very binary statement. I am the kind of person that rests when I need it. I am the kind of person that rests when I need it. You have to put yourself first in this journey. And especially while you're deep within the trauma healing. Because one of the things you have to do to integrate all of this work is you got to pause. You gotta take a break. You have to take care of yourself. This is emotionally exhausting. Healing trauma is emotionally exhausting. Like, realistically, there's so much work that we do every day and so much effort that we put in, and being on this path and on this baseline and on this road all the time is exhausting. And the other side of it is, what happens when you're buried in learning all day long? You don't have time to process everything. Now I do, and you know this, I am the learner. I'm always going to put myself in a position to learn. I have my earbuds in pretty much nonstop all day, consuming education because I want to learn. If I'm not creating, I'm learning. But, perfect example, Sunday afternoon, I just finished writing this huge course. I finished writing the second book, which is about to come out. I've been buried for 6 weeks non-stop. And before I hit that exhaustion point, because I can go longer now. I've trained myself to be able to, if I need to, I can get up to like 60, 70 straight days of work. Now that's my choice, because that's the way that I operate in the world, and it works for me. But Sunday morning, I came in, sat in the office, started doing what I do, and then I thought to myself, you know what? It's time to take a break. I shut it down immediately, and I spent the rest of the day chilling, because that's what you have to do. If you want to be the leader of your own life, you have to have the rules and the parameters in your life that say, hey, you can take a break. You can go chill. So I want to challenge you to something. If you're in a position in your life right now where you are exhausted, you've been going 100 miles an hour, you're in therapy and reading the books and listening to this podcast, you got a family, you got kids, you got the job, you got the hobbies, you're going to the gym at 6 a.m., you're doing all the things everybody tells you to do, and you feel burnt out, hit that pause button, pull over, get that refill, grab those gummy bears, get those pretzels, take a break, hit that rest area, and then get back to it. There's nothing wrong with taking a day off. Nothing. The problem comes into play when you take too many off in a row because you don't need it and you're actually procrastinating. Now, that's another conversation for another day. But here's my challenge to you, my friend. Take the time, rest when you need it. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. I'll see ya.